Hello, hello. Welcome to Tapping Tuesday. My name is Amanda, and I am here to guide you through an hour-long session of EFT. If this is your first time here, welcome. If it is not your first time here, welcome back. I'm always so happy to be here with you. Let me give you a quick rundown of what you can expect for the next hour, and then we'll jump right in. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And what it is really great for is to alleviate stress and overwhelm and trauma. And then a lesser known side of it is it's also really great to prime your brain and your body for peak performance for something that is coming up for you. It's really simple in application, but it resolves really complex things that otherwise are really hard to manage or to reach. So I'm very excited for you and your opportunity to get to experience it today. If you're not quite sure what it is or you're not confident in your ability to do it, just follow along with me and you'll do great. If there's anything that I'm doing that you can think of something that would work better for you, like a word or a phrase, if I'm on a tapping spot and you want to move, please give yourself permission to do so. I typically stay on one spot. I'll go here or I'll go here. And I stay there for a long time. And the reason for that is, number one, as long as you're on a tapping spot for EFT, that's all you need. You're good to go with one spot. Now, each spot you could look deeper into acupoints and understand the various benefits that go along with the acupoint itself. But for just this EFT application that we're doing, one spot is good. The reason why I do that rather than tapping through all of the spots, which is what you'll see on a lot of videos, is I want you to be focusing on what's happening in here, on what you're feeling, what you're thinking about, what you're releasing, rather than getting distracted and looking up and, oh, she's moved. I don't want you to worry about that. So I will be as boring as possible so that you feel supported in the release that you are experiencing. Now, there are two ways that you can submit things to tap on. One is our live chat that we have going through the whole session. And I do check in occasionally and try to incorporate as many suggestions as I can. And you can put suggestions in there at any time. If your suggestion just feels a little too vulnerable, you don't want to put it out there on the internet for everyone, you can always email me. And my email is at the top of the chat. I will also speak it. It is amanda@eftuniverse.com. Now, when you write me, I won't get it immediately. So it will be the following week that I will incorporate it and tap on it. But then you'll have a recording of it that you can go back and reference for whatever it is that you're wanting to tap on. I don't answer a lot of questions during this time. This is meant for you to experience EFT, but I'm happy to answer questions if you want to email it to me. You and I can have our own little chat about it. I also do videos every Friday, and a lot of times I answer questions there as well. I post a video about it so that everybody can have the answer. All right, so I'm going to say hello, and then let's get into our tapping. Let's see. Hi, Serena. I love it. I wish I could hear you singing. Excited to be here with everyone. Yay. I'm so glad that you're here too. Boring in the movements, maybe, but definitely not boring in any other way. Yes, agreed. John, hello. Happy that you're here. Hi, Dr. Scott. So happy to have you here. Okay, let's do a quick grounding technique, and then we'll get into tapping. And I don't have any emails from our community members to share today. So everything that we'll tap on today will come from us who are here. Okay, so to ground, first just become aware of your body. Just become aware that you have a body. And notice it. You can notice it with your eyes, looking at it. You can notice it with touch, feeling your body. You can just think about it. Think about, oh yeah, my body. And breathe. And as you're noticing your body, take just a moment to notice if any parts of your body are asking for a little bit more comfort. Maybe it's asking for a really deep breath or to sit a different way. Maybe you need to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water. Whatever it is that your body says to you, go ahead and give yourself permission to do it. I promise if you have to go to the bathroom, you're not going to miss anything. You'll be back in time. Just give your body that acknowledgement of, yes, I'm here, I'm listening, we're doing this together right now. And let's take a breath. And as you notice your body, notice what percentage of you is present. And you don't have to get over analytical about this. I know I tend to do that. But just whatever number comes up and say, I'm 86% present. That's what I'm feeling right now. And your number can be anywhere between 0 and 100. And whatever the number is, that's great. We're just looking for information. And now, as you have your number, how much of you is present, go ahead and just ask, well, where's the rest of me? Is it focused outward on the future? Is it focused on just like present day tasks and it's just busy on those? Is it focused on something in the past? Where is that other percentage of me? And as you tune into that, notice that there is a connection between present you and all of these other little bits. They're not lost, they're just out on their own adventure, on their own side task, whatever it is. And notice that they're connected to you. And whether you see like a literal physical connection or an energetic one, or just something that you mildly feel. And give yourself permission that everything that you do right now with the parts of you that are present will also travel down that connection and benefit the parts of you that are not present for whatever reason that may be. Let's take one more breath. Okay, I'm going to do a quick intention. It is my intention that as we tap together as a community, for this next bit of time that we have, that you will feel connected with everyone here. That even though we are around the world and doing different things, having different experiences at different times, that we are still able to connect together right now, and that connection is real and it's meaningful and it has purpose and it does have an effect. And that by the end of this tap, you will feel better, that you will feel seen and heard, and that you will know that you matter. You being here matters. And what doesn't matter is whether you're showing up in the biggest chaotic shamble that you've ever been in, or if you're in a really good space. You being here adds to the positive outcome. So thank you for that. Okay, let's take a breath. Alrighty, I'm going to check the comments and let's see what we're going to start on. Hi, Barb. I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Donette. Hi, Ellie. You're so welcome. I love being here with you. Alrighty, so go ahead and feel free to put anything you want to tap on. It could be a pet peeve. It could be a curiosity. It could be, I wonder if I could be happier than I am now. It could be something that you're wanting that you don't yet have, something that you have that you don't want. Anything that you're worried about, any emotion. Let's see here. Hi, Michelle. Zarina, thank you. Fear of failure. Yes, that is one. So one thing with tapping, and I know I said I'm not going to go into anything. I'm just going to say this one thing quick. One thing with tapping, a misconception, is we tap on it and it's done. Like one time, woo, reach that, and now it's over with. We are constantly having new experiences, which means we're constantly drawing new conclusions and having realizations that allows us to realize, oh, I want to let go of that old thing now. Or we unlock a new fear, or something that was an unpleasant experience. Tapping is a way of communicating with your subconscious brain so that you can have empowerment over where and what your brain perceives is important. Therefore, what you expend energy on and spend your time on. So a fear of failure is very common to tap on over and over throughout your life. But what does stay consistent, what does build and change, is your confidence in yourself and your knowledge of, but I can do something about this. And that's really fun to experience. Okay, Ellie, I'd love to tap on a gentle invitation to growth. I love that. Thank you for that. Oh, Michelle, you want your old job back. I'm so sorry for whatever reason that is, that's causing you this grief. Marie, you want your old house back. All right, so I would say that goes under grief, maybe. Let me know if that's not quite it. Dr. Scott, why does my kidney function seem to be declining? Okay, everything else is normal. Okay, thank you for that. I like the idea of gentle invitations. That's nice. I do too. And Michelle, having a really bad day today. I quit my job and realized I shouldn't have. Oh, okay. I hear you on that. And I immediately just want to give you advice, which is not what we're here for. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. We'll tap on it. Marie, just feel out of place. Okay, out of place in your new home, I'm guessing. And Michelle, so much grief my whole life. I hear you. Okay. All right. Where to start? You're very welcome, Michelle. I think we can start with fear of failure and kind of wrap some other things into that. So, oh, Marie, yes, it was a forced move. Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right. So fear of failure may not feel spot on right away. So you can say maybe a fear of never being happy again, a fear of mistakes, a fear of consequences, a fear of a downward spiral. So if fear of failure doesn't quite ring for you, go ahead and choose another word for it. And go ahead and get into your mind while we start tapping. What one thing you're going to focus on for this fear of failure. And don't be worried about what to pick if you have multiple things. If it is kind of the same vibration, it elicits the same feeling as the other things that you're considering, this will affect all of it. So whatever you choose, you're going to have an overall effect. As I consider this fear of failure that I am thinking about right now, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even if, as I say this fear is so big, it doesn't feel like it will ever be okay, and I don't accept myself, and everything feels wrong, I still choose right now to do my best to deeply and completely accept myself. I acknowledge this fear. I acknowledge that it's big. I acknowledge how awful it feels. And I acknowledge all of the things that make me more afraid as I consider this fear. And as I acknowledge all of these aspects of this fear, I still choose right now, before any of it is resolved, to acknowledge myself in this space as I deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder. I wonder about this fear. I wonder if everything that I feel needs to be felt right now. Like right now. Like right now. Do I need to feel so affected by this right now as I consider it? Or am I safe enough in this moment that I can give myself permission to release all of these feelings attached to my fear and allow myself this space for just right now to consider this fear without feeling all of it? My safety, my present safety. Am I safe right now? Am I safe this moment? I want you to look around the room and ask, is where I'm sitting a safe place to sit? Is this room that I'm looking at, is it a safe room? Is this ceiling a safe ceiling? Is the air that I'm breathing safe air? Seems okay. As I notice how safe or not safe that I am perceiving at this time, I deeply and completely accept myself. I acknowledge my answers, even if they don't really make sense. There is some part of me where it does make sense. And I offer that part of me compassion, caring, and as much safety as it can accept at this time. Offering myself safety. Taking care of myself in this moment. Allowing myself to be okay to the degree that I can be. I wonder, this fear that I am feeling about this thing that I am focused on, do I only experience one source of input for this fear? Or Does it feel more accurate that there are many voices speaking up? Many voices that might say, you can't do this. You're not capable. You've ruined everything. Things will never be okay. You'll never be safe. You'll never win. Consequences will always be bad. No one will be there for you. You deserve this. My life will always be hard. Why don't I ever get help? Why don't I ever catch a break? Why, when I try to do a good thing, do bad things happen? And even if I hear these aspects and others, when I consider this fear, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. In fact, I choose to acknowledge to myself how hard that is to think through, how hard all of this is to take action on, to gain clarity, to have any amount of energy. That's a lot. That's a lot. That is so much for me to try and process through. Wow. So maybe, even though this is heavy and it's hard, as I notice everything that's involved, maybe I'm doing a pretty good job. I wonder, do I have to do it this way? Do I have to work through this fear with all of this weight? Or is it possible? Maybe, is it possible that some of this can go? Maybe some of these voices, some of these thoughts are from my past. Maybe they're from a time when I also had this fear. But that was a long time ago. And I've changed since then. I have knowledge. I have resource. So even though these other times in my past might feel valid because they feel connected to this current fear, I allow myself to choose to let go of any and all of it that doesn't actually apply to right now. Letting go. Letting go of old beliefs. letting go of old outcomes, letting go of old experiences, letting go of any thought that is telling me my past has to be my future. Because isn't it true that there are so many stories of people who persevere and persevere and persevere, and then something changes? There's so many movies, so many books written about that kind of experience. And maybe I can hold space for that to be a potential outcome for this fear too. Maybe I can have a positive outcome. Maybe I can find something that will make a difference for me. Maybe I can have an epiphany, a realization. I'll come across some information that I didn't even know I needed. Maybe my positive outcome will even surprise me. Okay? Well, if I'm holding space for that, what's my job? What do I do? Well, what would I consider to be my best? Maybe holding this space and allowing energy to go to it, for there to be a different outcome, for there to be the outcome that I want. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it isn't enough, but maybe it's enough. I wonder, how will I know? It's a good question. Maybe I give myself a time frame. I choose all in and I say, yes, I choose to believe and hold space for this positive outcome. And I give it a full 24 hours before I check back in and see if it's done me any good. Well, what do I mean by any good? Maybe how I feel, how my body feels. Maybe my own self-care. Has that improved? Maybe my feelings. Maybe some actions. But whatever length of time I give myself for this, that I feel that I can really commit to, I allow myself permission to really look and accept any positive moves forward. And while I give myself permission to prepare for any outcome that is wise and makes sense for me to be ready for, I choose to hold space for what I want. And I give myself permission to take action for that space as much as I am able. This fear, holding space, taking action, my desired outcome. And as I allow myself this little experiment, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, stop tapping and take a breath. Take just a moment and think about where you were before we started tapping and how that fear that you tapped on felt in your body and in your mind. And compare it to how you feel now. And notice if you feel more calm, if that fear is just maybe a little smaller, maybe a little less reactive. If you were sighing or yawning, feeling tired, feeling invigorated, giggling, crying, during the tap, those are all really positive signs that your subconscious brain has heard what you were saying and said, yes, I like this. Let's rearrange things and let's set our new outlook in this direction. So good job. Okay, let's see what we're going to tap on next. Oh, thank you for that input, Serena. And yes, kidney being in being a water meridian. Thank you for that information. Roberta, I need help in standing up to someone who bullies me and at the same time forgive him. Oof, that's big. That's big. Marie, that's it, Graham. I hope that you were able to, with the words that we tapped on, Marie, that was able to reach at least a better place for you. Safety is a tricky word. It's, especially when you've had experiences in your past where places that were supposed to be safe weren't. It can take a while to gain a different relationship with that word. Serena, best, what is really the best? Best seems like a lot. Fair. If best is too strong of a word, then better, you can even say slightly better. You could say neutral. If I use a word that you feel your brain reject and push back like that, that's a perfect example of a pushback. There's a couple of options that you have. Is you can switch the word out and choose one that your brain can go, okay, I can get behind that one. Or say, even though this doesn't feel possible right now, I still choose to give it a try while you're tapping. But acknowledging that as you're tapping, it allows you to still feel empowerment and still feel connected to what process you're going through. Okay. So growth and grief and a little bit of physical body. Dr. Scott, let me know if that felt like we kind of got your kidney stuff in there with this last tap, or not so much. Because if not, then we'll sneak in a little physical tap. Let's focus on grief going into growth. I think that could be a really, really great one. Self-sabotage. That could tie into growth. Let's put it there. So thank you for that suggestion. Dialed it down somewhat. Physical would help. Also fear of unknown. Yeah, messing with your scientist brain. I kind of wondered that because that's very fair. Okay, so grief to growth, and then we'll see what we've got time for. Okay, so go ahead and start tapping. And let's just consider what these words mean. So when we say grief, what immediately comes to my mind is grieving the loss of something, which isn't the broadest terminology of grief. Grief could also mean feeling pain of letting something go, whether that's a big thing or a small thing. It could be the loss, the physical loss, of a person, a place, or thing, a loved pet. It could be maybe you cut your hair, and you don't like the new haircut at all, and feeling like that was a mistake, and now you don't look like you in a way that matters to you, and you have to deal with that, at least till your hair grows back out. Everything is valid to feel in grief, whether it feels like it should be something small or big. But grief, let's define it as pain that's being felt over letting go. Okay. And going into growth, then what is growth? There's a lot of ways that we're told we get growth. A lot of it is defined through must be hard work. You've got to sweat. You've got to want it. You've got to reach for it. You've got to strive for it. Of course, it's going to be hard. Anything worth getting is difficult. A lot of beliefs, negative beliefs that are tied to what must happen in order to get growth. And then how do you know if you've gotten growth? How do you know when you've landed there? Is it only at that finish line of success, or does all of it count? And if you don't have a finish line, does any of it count? And does it count if nobody else notices? Does growth count if it causes grief in some other area of your life, or if it causes grief at the same time over the same thing? Because that's definitely possible. So with all of this now jumbling around in your head, let's see what we can do to give you some empowerment with that. As I consider all of these aspects of my relationship with both grief and growth, I deeply and completely accept myself. As I consider how far-reaching all of the things are that I can consider, that I personally feel are true, as I consider grief and growth, I deeply and completely accept myself. And even though right now I may have no idea what to do with this, or what even to look for in this, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself. In fact, I appreciate myself. I appreciate myself that I'm asking, that I'm looking. I appreciate that this matters. I appreciate that I'm looking to see if both could be easier. And as I look into this, I give myself permission to do so with a sense of wonder and curiosity. And even if I have emotions pop up or memories pop up, Of course, those are valid, and I allow myself to have them. But for now, I choose to focus on being curious and open. This grief, all of this grief, all of the grief that I have for everything from the very beginning to this very moment, all of my grief. Growth. My growth. Growth that I got. Growth that I did not get. Growth that I'm still hoping for. All of the growth that I've desired since the beginning, up until this very moment. And all of the reasons that I desired that growth. And all of the feelings and all of the beliefs that I have accepted, whether that growth did or did not happen. My growth. I wonder, what does grief have to do with growth? Nothing. They're polar opposites. They're completely different. And there's nothing where one would affect the other ever. Even if this is what I thought and feel, or something close to it, I still choose to be open-minded as I am curious about grief and growth. I wonder, what do I believe is true about grief? Do I believe that it has to last a long time and that the duration of it is equal to the amount of what I'm grieving? That if it's a short-term grief, then I must not have really cared. Do I believe that? Do I believe that in certain circumstances I'm expected to grieve and I better grieve? I better allow people to see me grieving, or I'll be judged. I'll be misunderstood. Do I believe that there are times that others think I shouldn't grieve, that there's no reason for me to grieve, and therefore I better not show it? I better bury it deep inside. And if I do grieve about it, I should feel ashamed and embarrassed and judge myself for them, even if they're not there to see it. I could take care of that on my own. I wonder, what is the point of grieving? What is the point of something that feels so much and usually feels so bad? my grieving, the point of my grieving, the reasons for my grieving to exist. Maybe my grieving is a way for me to hear myself. Maybe grieving is a way for me to express things, new feelings, or feelings I didn't know I had before the grief, or feelings I didn't know how to express before the grief. Maybe it's a channel for release for this person, place, or thing to be let go of, whether with love or any other emotion, because it no longer is needing to be considered in the way that it was before. And acknowledging that may be relieving. It may be really hard. But whatever emotion that I feel, I give myself permission to feel it. And I allow myself to also create boundaries. Boundaries from other people's opinions on my grief, or other people's grief that they want to just hand over to me. I can receive them as opinions. I can receive them as their perspective. But I choose to not receive it as grief, because it's not mine to take care of. As I consider this opportunity of grieving that allows me to share a dialogue with myself of all the truths that are related to this grief, and I allow myself this channel of release so that I can create space to receive. I deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder if there's all this space that's now created by allowing myself to release and shift. What am I receiving? I can allow myself to receive comfort. I can allow myself to receive possibility. I can allow myself to receive what I would like to receive. Make sure I get the wording right. And I allow myself to receive this growth in a way that feels supportive and loving and kind. I allow myself to receive growth gently, smoothly, incrementally, as it feels safe and good and empowering to receive. And it's okay if this is a process. It's okay if I really need my time to grieve and receive my growth. And it's even okay if they happen at the same time. I give myself permission to be sad about letting go and to feel good about receiving. And this may feel complicated. It may feel like there's so many moving parts and so many memories, and it's very complex. And there may be moving parts and memories that I do get to go and adjust for myself. But what if it were true that some, maybe a big portion of this, could be released just by permission? Permission. My permission to release my grief. My permission to receive my growth. And I give myself permission, even with all of the emotions and the memories and the complexities that come along with it. Maybe not everything needs to be solved in order for me to release my grief and receive my growth. Releasing, receiving. And as I allow myself my permission to continue to move forward in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself. Let's take a breath while we're still tapping. Okay, go ahead and pause on tapping and take just a moment to think about how you felt about grief and growth before we tapped and how it feels now. Think about how your body feels right now. If you're feeling lighter, brighter, better, more peaceful, more still, more open. Those are all good signs, as well as all of the others we've already listed. Those are good signs that your subconscious brain has said, yeah, I like the way this is leaning towards. Let's continue with that. And it will continue to develop that, even with you not tapping. How cool is that? All right, let's do a quick physical body tap. And then we'll have to say goodbye, but let's not think about that yet. Okay, go ahead and start tapping. And just consider your body. It doesn't have to be something big. If you feel just an overabundance of positive body energy, feel free to try tapping for another person. You could tap for Dr. Scott if you want, or someone else that you know who's going through something physical. Now, I do want to throw in this disclaimer. This particular tap, if you are tapping for another person, is not a part of clinical EFT, which is what we do here. There are 48 clinically proven EFT techniques, and this is not one that has been clinically studied, to my knowledge. There is empirical evidence for it. So, yeah, this is a good one to try if you want to. Alrighty. Dr. Scott, how about you email me? Let's talk about what's going on with you one-on-one, okay? As I consider my body, and I am able to consider this thing that I would like to improve with my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though this thing that I'm considering isn't different yet, and I would like it to be, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though this thing with my body might feel really angsty or complicated or really unhappy to think about. Or maybe it's a happy thing and it feels really far away and I feel really confused about how I can even get there. I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. This issue in my body, I wonder, what could I do that could help? Maybe I feel like I've tried everything. Maybe I can think of some things. Maybe I know things, but they feel too hard or too risky or not safe enough to try. As I consider my options, I give myself permission to trust my intuition. I give myself permission to trust what I feel could be a good idea. Because maybe that intuition is part of my body speaking up. I mean, livers and kidneys don't have lips. They don't have vocal cords. They can't speak up the way that I speak with my voice. So what other way could my body be speaking to me? Maybe through symptoms, maybe through thoughts. I wonder, have I tried outside of my box to look for information or a possible solution? Yes, I've looked for every bit of information in the whole entire world that's ever been created on this topic, the end. No, of course I'm not looking outside of the box. That's dangerous. I don't know enough about things. I'd probably get myself into trouble, and it's got to be validated in this certain way, or it's really too risky for me to even consider. Even if we're going to go a few minutes over today, even if I hear or feel pushback like those or something else about seeking out a different answer, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. It's okay that I want to be wise about this. It's my body. It's okay that I want to be practical about this. It's my body. I wonder, is it possible that I could try something and maybe the only risk is it not working and I'm the same, or I feel really foolish for trying? Maybe if there's something I can release expectations and I can release judgments and allow myself to feel really good that I'm trying, that I'm looking, that I'm seeking. Because I may not have complete control over my body and everything that happens in it, but I do have the ability to let myself try. And I can feel really good about my try, even if the results aren't the answer I was looking for. I love my body. I want my body to thrive. So I give myself permission to try. And I give myself permission to measure any outcome by my try, by my desire, by the fact that I care. My body, caring for my body, trying for my body, my body. And as I give myself this permission, I deeply and completely accept myself. Pause tapping and take a deep breath. Take just a moment and consider how you're feeling right now. And think about how you felt at the beginning of this tap. And notice if you feel more calm in your body, if your breathing has slowed down, maybe your posture has been allowed to release a little bit. Notice if emotionally you feel more space, more neutral, feel more positive. Maybe you feel chaotic, but it's something that's needed to come out. Maybe you found something that you finally have connected with that you've been looking for. It doesn't have to be the end road at the end of the session. It can be you made progress, and that progress can look messy. But I hope that what you feel, that part of that also includes that you feel seen and heard and loved. And I'm sorry that if we didn't get directly to what you've offered today, always feel free to email me and we'll get to it if you email me at the next session. And I'm happy to chat with you otherwise. So have a wonderful week. I am going to read the messages after I say goodbye, just in case someone needed an answer on something before I click away. But if you need to go, I'll say goodbye so you don't feel like you have to stay. Thank you for coming. I love you. Have a wonderful week. And I hope I get to see you next week. Mwah. Okay, now I'm going to check the messages real fast. Aw. Okay, Ellie, great. That was helpful. I must have mentioned the complexities. Yay, yay, yay. Serena, thank you for your words. Oh, no, you can't see the chat? Hopefully, maybe in the replay, you'll be able to see it. Okay, and thank you, Dr. Scott. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday, Joyce. All right. Bye.